Hello and welcome to another episode of Guyanese Swag. My name is McKay. I am your host, and we bring you interviews from leaders across the diaspora who are shakers and movers and they feel getting things done, y'all. Today we have with us a board-certified sports orthopedic chiropractor. She's an entrepreneur and a real estate broker, none other than Dr. Ashley. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm so glad to be here today. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. I appreciate you jumping on here with us, and I'm looking forward to picking your brain. Okay, so the first question I ask everyone who come on the show is, where were you born?
So I actually was not born in Guyana. I was born in New York. My parents, both of them, were actually born in Guyana. And my father migrated when he was 7 years old. My mom actually came when she was 17. So she's a lot more into the culture.
Gotcha. So being first generation American with Guyanese parents, growing up, what was your experience like?
My experience was pretty much, it was like I was raised in Guyana. They are just very old school, very traditional, very by the book. Everything is the way that they did it when they came here. I mean, that's just straight up how I was raised.
Gotcha. And growing up and now becoming a board certified orthopedic, real estate broker, entrepreneur, how do you feel like having Guyanese parents shaped your belief system and helped you to navigate those pathways to become everything that you are today?
I think a lot of it is actually rooted back towards my grandparents. My grandparents were always my biggest inspiration, specifically my grandfather. He, told me a lot of different stories growing up. The main story that sticks out in my head the most is actually the time that he told me that he was, so back in Guyana, he owned a company where he was a taxi driver, had other guys driving for him. That's how he was able to bring his family to New York back in the 70s, 80s, I'm sorry. And there was a time where he actually got beat up, he got robbed, and everything he had on him, every dollar, everything got taken from him. And when I was younger, he told me, people can take everything that you have, everything physical, everything material, but nobody can ever take away your education. And the minute that he said that to me, it just big inspiration. That was it. I just went in for the biggest degree I could get.
Got it. Growing up, did you know you want to be an orthopedic, or when did that come into the picture?
No, I actually didn't know growing up. I always thought I wanted to be an attorney because I like speaking and, I can hold down an argument pretty well too. But I actually figured it out while I was in college. I just was always very into fitness and very into health, but didn't really like, I'm not the type of person that likes to immediately go to the doctor and take like 10 different pills when I'm sick. So I thought it was the absolute perfect fit. And I started shadowing different chiropractors. And then I just decided, what, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I also really like that you have that like close-knit patient relationship where I'm seeing people multiple times a week, if not that. And you really get to know them. And that's like part of my personality. I like being around people. I'm very social. So that just fit very well.
Obviously, there's a lot of different ways you could have gone as a chiropractor. What made you specifically chose the niche of sports? Because that's a very specific target audience. So what made you choose that market?
I'm a very motivated person. I wake up every morning around 5:30 or 6:30, depending on the day. And I'm in the gym 4 or 5 times a week. It's just part of my lifestyle. And I like to work with people to that same caliber because they just are just as motivated to get better and to get well, and they're very invested in their bodies, their mind, everything. So it's just that's who I work with the best. It's not the only type of patient population I work with, but it's definitely the one that fits the glove the best.
Gotcha. So I kind of just jumped in there and started asking questions about career path, but for the person who's watching this video and they've never even heard the word sports orthopedic chiropractor, break down for us, what is that title? What does that job title entail? The type of clients you service, and basically at what point would somebody say, I need to go see Dr. Ashley?
So I live in New York City, right? And there's a million different gyms around. I would say the average type of person that lives in New York City is somebody that's very motivated, usually very successful, very, top of their game type of person. And these people are always in the gym. They're always doing physical activities. They're always walking around because that's just something you do a lot when you live here, in addition to working out. And they tend to get injured a lot because a lot of them are so aggressive and into what they're doing that they're not letting their bodies recover. So somebody that's working out, or triathlete, somebody that's running the marathon, somebody that's just into taking Barry's classes, all these different types of patients, these are who I usually see.
Got it. And what would be the reason why these people, because from the patients you're describing, they're pretty healthy people. So what would make them say, I want to go see a chiropractor, orthopedic? What would make them want to do that?
A low back herniation from deadlifting too heavy, an ankle sprain from landing on their foot the wrong way while running, some kind of like tendonitis of any kind, and it could be in the bicep, it can be in the elbow, just any kind of issue like that, just general neck pain, posture, any kind of like work type ergonomic situation where they're having pain because they're sitting all day and then they go home and sit more, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. So one thing with the Guyanese community is like, and you actually said it earlier, the doctor and the visits and the pills, we don't like it. We will try all types of remedies to avoid the doctor.
That's very true. I have Limacol in my nightstand right now.
Okay, since you brought that up, really quick, 5 things that your parents and you think most Guyanese people that's a must-have in the house, starting with the Limacol.
Okay, that's a funny question. I would say Limacol, Vicks, Limacol, Vicks. What else? Let's see. Some type of red string that you can tie on your suitcase when you go away. What else would be something? One of those scrubbers, a body scrubber. I would get up right now and get it, but it's like something that exfoliates your skin, makes your skin soft. My grandma she doesn't shower without it. She doesn't use her hands to put soap on. That's what she uses. And I would just say, any type of alcohol, because we like to drink and party.
You got it. The one I was thinking, Dettol. I love it. All right, so back to the serious stuff. So sports orthopedic chiropractor, at what point did you get into real estate, and what was the interest that got you into real estate?
So my father is actually a real estate broker. This again dates back to my grandfather. My grandfather was a builder and developer in New York and Florida. And my dad is one of 5 brothers. He also has a sister. All of the 5 brothers and the sister, every single one of them are in real estate. The Narain brothers, people know them. New York and Florida, they're all over the place. And they actually used to work together. Now they do not. They're all separate. But my dad and all of his brothers got heavily into real estate, and they've been based in the Bronx, most of them. And my dad is a real estate broker. When he met my mom was a statistician at Bronx Lebanon Hospital. So he realized, oh, she's good at numbers. This is interesting. And he owned his own firm and he was doing his own thing. And he was like, you know what? I'm dating her. I'm going to get engaged to her. I'm going to get married to her. She's good with numbers. Let's make her into a mortgage banker. Let's work together and let's do this. So my mom and my dad are actually phenomenal power couple, and they just, they kill it together, and they've always been doing that together. You can imagine the types of conversations that I had growing up at the dinner table, but it really peaked when I was in school, and I was in chiropractic school, and I came home for the summer and I wasn't really doing anything. So I just decided to get my real estate license, because I always was in my parents' office in the summers as a child, as a teenager, in college. And I just decided to go for it and do it. And it was like, taking that test was just so easy, because I basically knew everything, because my parents openly talk about all of that stuff. So the test was like flying colors. It was so easy.
Got it. I love it. So for the people who are in Guyana, in the world now knows what's going on with Guyana in oil and everything. Real estate is at the forefront and center of that conversation. For the people who are living in Guyana, they're considering, like, should I migrate? Should I sell my property and move? What advice would you give to them?
So I'm in New York real estate. I am not in Guyana real estate, and I do not have any advice for that because I am not involved in any Guyana real estate. So I don't really have an opinion on that. But I do know that, to buy in Guyana is fairly cheap. And I think that if people are willing to go bring their money down there, then, by all means. My family has bought properties down there recently, and, we like going. And I only went once, but I had the time of my life, and I can see myself going again and again. It's a personal preference, but I would say if you wanted to buy, you could. But to speak on the oil situation, I don't have an opinion because I'm not in Guyana real estate.
Gotcha. Let's talk about your experience going to Guyana, because you mentioned that was your first time going. So having Guyanese parents and going to Guyana for the first time, did you go with your parents or without your parents?
So I actually went with my mother, my uncle, my aunt, and three of my cousins and my brother. My dad didn't go, but all of the rest of us went. It was an amazing group, and we had the best time. And I have traveled the world. I've been to Italy, Greece, I've been to Portugal, I've been to Morocco, I've been London, everywhere. And I can honestly say that I had the best time and the best experience in Guyana with my family, hands down.
What was your favorite experience about being there? Matter of fact, what was your three most favorite experience?
So the first day, we actually just, we got ready, and then we went out to the West Coast, which is where my family is from. And it was just so different seeing the houses, seeing some of the people. And I actually do not have any family there, really. Everybody's in New York, Canada, Florida, England. So we have people that my mom grew up with and grew around with, that we were visiting them. We were going to their house every day. And it was just so beautiful seeing like how people live down there versus how we live here. It's very different. And it was extremely eye-opening for sure, especially coming from New York City. It's a different place in the world. And that's really what it was.
What was the one lesson that you took away with you that you will pass down to your children?
I think that the culture is just so extremely important, and there's nothing more important than that. And if you want to build and you want to grow, you want to get degrees, you want to open a business, you want to run a company, you want to do all these things, I think you can't do it without knowing your roots. And I think that's extremely, extremely important. And I would definitely bring my kids down there 100%.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break for a message from today's sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Meet Jenny. While strolling through her Instagram feed trying to find something to do this weekend, she saw a post from Guyanese Swag advertising a concert happening in her local area this weekend. Excited, she clicked on the link, which redirected her to the comprehensive Guyanese Swag business directory. To her delight, Jenny discovered a variety of upcoming Guyanese events taking place in her city. What is really cool about it is the directory gives her all the details she needs. She gets to see business profiles with pictures, videos, and even special offers. Plus, she can easily find contact information and read reviews from people who have attended previous events hosted by the same promoter. Now, Jenny visits GuyaneseSwag.net on a weekly basis. It is her go-to website for finding things to do on the weekend. If you are an event planner or promoter and want to reach a ton of people in the Guyanese community, visit GuyaneseSwag.net. We've got a huge membership base across the diaspora, and it's the perfect platform to get the word out. So why not give your event the exposure it deserves? Just visit GuyaneseSwag.net. It takes less than 5 minutes to list your event.
Hello and welcome back for another episode of Guyanese Swag. We was just getting into some of the good stuff with Dr. Ashley, who's a board-certified sports orthopedic, real estate broker, and of course an entrepreneur. So she was just telling us about her experience in Guyana. Dr. Ashley, you mentioned culture and heritage and that being a really important thing. One of the things that happens when we migrate, whether it's to America or any part of the world, there's this balance of how much of myself do I let go? How much of myself do I evolve? How much of it do I pass down to my children? What were some of the things that your parents passed down to you that you felt like these were lessons that, one, shaped your mindset, but then two, as an adult and hopefully one day mother, wife, all that good stuff. To you, what are the takeaways that you want to pass down to the next generation and make sure that the culture stays alive in the family?
I just think that knowing your roots and remembering where you came from, but not only just yourself, knowing where your family came from, knowing where your grandparents came from, what your great grandparents went through to get you where you are, all of that stuff is so extremely important. And I don't think there's anything more motivating or more important than that. And that's always something that drives me. Just knowing how much they had to struggle, knowing what they went through, knowing that there was 11 of them living in an apartment in the Bronx, and now they're living in like huge homes and owning real estate and doing all these different things and running companies, and I'm doing the same. It all started from that. That's just so extremely motivating, and I don't think there's anything that goes further than that, really.
When we migrate, and even just the people who are born here in the States, all of us have a choice to make. Either one, we're going to get up and try to make a life for ourselves, or two, we're going to settle with the norm, with the quote unquote average, and settle for that. I know that you talked about earlier about growing up and seeing your parents be entrepreneurs and seeing them live out, but not only live it out, also teaching it to you through actions and through verbal communication with conversations. For the people who grew up and they don't have entrepreneurial parents and they don't get to be exposed to that environment, what advice would you give to the person who's saying, I didn't grow up in that environment, but I eventually want to be a business owner? What advice would you give to them?
I would definitely say, and I've done this before, there are two different people that I took as mentors. You show the interest, you show up. When I was 14 years old and I was able to work, 14 or 15, I think 15. When I was 15 years old and I was able to work, there was a pharmacy that you could walk to from my parents' house. I actually dressed up, I put a little blazer on, I put my dress pants on, I walked over to the pharmacy and I said, hey, like, who's the pharmacist in here? And I just went straight up to the pharmacist and I said, I want to be a pharmacist one day. Like, here's my resume. Can I work here? And that was it. I got the job on the spot. And I think that when you gravitate and put yourself out there and go and, find somebody like that you can work for and you can work hand in hand with, you can learn so much from them. It doesn't have to be a parent. There's also a chiropractor that I did that with, Dr. Donath, somebody very close to me that I've been very close to over the years, because my parents are not chiropractors. Where did I learn any of this stuff that I'm doing from? You have to watch the best to become the best. And I think that's really important to, put yourself out there and just meet people and go towards them and tell them what your interest is and tell them what they can gain from having you around as an intern or whatever it is purpose you serve for them, and vice versa, what you can learn from them.
I like how you put that, talking about the purpose that you can serve for somebody else, because many times people will talk about, or they'll look at it from the angle of what I can get from this person. And they'll try to sell people based on what they can get instead of what they can deliver to the other person. Now being an entrepreneur, being in the world that you're in and doing everything that you're doing, social media has become a part of that. How do you leverage social media to, one, get the word out there for your business, but then two, to at the same time of using social media to get your business out there, to keep your personal life private?
So I actually am still looking to find that balance, but I would say that just being out there, putting yourself out there, showing people what you're doing, posting, being active on social media, this is way to just keep people in the know with what you're doing. People know that I'm doing real estate. People know that I'm a chiropractor. And if they see that I'm posting as a chiropractor or what I'm doing with my patients or my workouts and anything fitness or health related, they have me in their mind when they go and they injure themselves or they have any type of pain and they want to call somebody and see who can help them. It's usually you that's going to be on their mind if you're actively posting and you're actively putting yourself out there. It's just a way, it's free marketing. Nobody's sitting there watching TV commercials anymore. People are scrolling on their phones. So you just got to use it to your advantage, really. That's what it is.
Real estate, chiropractic, those are two drastically different worlds. How are you balancing your schedule and just your day-to-day life with making sure that you're learning all that you can learn in both of those worlds and not letting any opportunities slip over?
So right now I'm heavily focused on opening my practice in New York City, but I would say that real estate is just something that I've done for maybe, I think, about 11 years now. and I'm pretty settled into that career and into that world. I'm definitely on the, on the upswing with being a chiropractor, opening this practice on Fifth Avenue in New York City. So it's really just a big balance, and it's just all about managing your time. That's what it really just comes down to. What are you going to get done during the day? Make a list, get it done, do it, and, work out in between. That's really just what I do.
So for the person watching this video, they're like, okay, well, I can't come to New York and see Dr. Ashley, but I am in pain. What are some tips that they can use at home? Just general tips for everyday wellness balance to take care of their body so that they're staying in tune.
So the first thing is that I do virtual visits. So if I can ever help somebody just by talking to them, I'm willing to do that. And I think the biggest thing is to really just keep your body moving. You don't have to be in the gym lifting heavy weights. You don't have to be in, different classes 5 days a week or doing yoga, or there's no set way. Everybody's body is different. It's just all about a balance. So you can indulge on the weekend, that's fine. But during the week, keep it clean, keep it simple, keep it healthy, and keep it focused. You have to do that. That's really what it's about. And keep your body moving. You gotta, whether it's walking or whatever it is that's your thing that works for you and your body, do that in addition to eating kind of clean during the week. Well, not kind of, eat decently clean during the week. And I think that that's the best balance.
What is, from the Guyanese menu, what is your favorite food, and what menu options would you say are probably the most cleanest to eat on a day-to-day basis?
That is a really good question. I like that question. So first off, I am actually vegetarian. When my grandfather passed away in 2019, it broke my heart, shattered me. And we fasted. My family is Hindu. We fasted for, I would say, about a month. And fasting for Hindus means no drinking, no partying, no meat, and no meat products. So I was pretty much doing that the entire month. And when it was over, I was like, wow, I really like this. Like, it's working for my body and I feel good. Like, I feel like I look good. It's my mental clarity is so good. When I wake up in the morning, I don't feel groggy. I always used to feel that. And so I just cut meat out like 4 years ago. And my options eating at my family's house when I do go home are limited because it's a lot of meat that Guyanese people eat. So my favorite has always been dal and roti. That's always been my favorite. Just plain, just straight up, just that. And I would say I'm not the best person to ask this to because I don't even eat, I don't eat pepper pot. I don't eat chow mein with chicken. I don't eat any of that stuff. So.
Got it. I love it. I love it. Going forward now and opening up your practice and moving along the pathways that you want to move in, what advice do you have for your future self, and what lessons did you learn from your past self that you feel like is definitely guiding you to your future self?
I would say that all the sacrifices that I'm making right now are going to be worth it. I don't get the amount of time to do the amount of things that I want to do or anything like that. And I would just like to remind myself that all the sacrifices are worth it, because there are times where I do feel a void or I feel like I'm missing something, and I just know that it's going to be worth it. And that's why I keep pushing through. And what was the second part of that question? I'm sorry.
What lessons did you learn from the past that you feel like has been your guide to keep you moving forward?
Lessons from my past, I would just say, just definitely just practicing in general in New York City. You're always going to be working for someone else if you don't get up and just do it for yourself. And it gets to a point where you're just like, why am I doing this? It just would make so much more sense to do it myself, or to just build and grow it the way that you want it. You don't have to go by somebody else's mold. You can go and you can build it into the way that you want it, the way you want it to look, the way you want your brand to be. All these different things are just so important. And I think that that's a big thing. There are people that want to go to work and come home and not worry about work, and that's fine. But then there are people that don't like their jobs, and you can do something about it. It's just about taking the steps to do it.
What is the one thing that you do every single day that you feel like it's been pushing the benchmark for you, and it keeps you at the same time, even though it pushes the benchmark, it still keeps you in balance?
Definitely music. I love music. I love listening to music, and music is just so extremely motivating to me. All different types of music also, just, you know, just keeping music on in the background while I'm working definitely motivates me.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song, that I can't answer that. I have so many different favorite songs, but I I love Bollywood music. I'm on TikTok. You can follow me, Dr. Ashley with 2 Y's. And that's also my Instagram as well. But I definitely love any type of Bollywood music. I love Drake. I love, those are my 2 favorites for sure.
Got it. And bringing the conversation full forward, my final question for you is, for people who are looking at this video, whether they're in Guyana or anywhere in the world really, and they're going, I want to one day be an entrepreneur, I want to be a chiropractor or a real estate broker, or anything, I want to be anything. They're looking at this video. What are some practical steps that they can take today to get them to where they want to be tomorrow?
I think it would depend heavily on what their situation is and what their current, situation is. Are you a student, or are you a mother with kids, or, who are you and what are you doing and where are you in life? But I would definitely say that there's a lot of informative information on YouTube. And if you're not into watching videos, then there's definitely a lot of books that you can read.
That note, for the people who are watching this video and they want to connect with you, they want to follow you, they want to book you for virtual service, they want to come to your office in New York, how do they get in contact with you?
So the easiest way to get in contact with me would definitely be to email me. My email is dr.ashley, ASHLEY, @sinartreatments.com. And that's spelled SINAR and then treatments with an S. My Instagram is dr.ashley with 2 Y's, and that's my TikTok as well. I love going on TikTok. It's like my little hobby. It's just so fun.
Wonderful, Dr. Ashley. This conversation was very meaningful. I really appreciate you stopping by and sharing your wisdom with us. I enjoyed learning about you, and I know the audience will as well. Any final words of wisdom for those who are watching or listening?
I would definitely say to always just keep your eyes on the prize. That's just the most important thing. And something that always motivates me, something that's personal to me that just always keeps me going, is that when I look my best and feel my best, I perform my best. So for me, that's fitness. But whatever that is for anybody, find what that is and do it, and you will just excel. That's just the best advice I can give.
You heard it from the doctor herself. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Guyanese Swag. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And while you're down there in the comments, make sure you click the link to connect with Dr. Ashley and follow all that she's doing. And if you're not in New York, but you need her service, she definitely provides virtual consultation. So make sure you reach out. Thank you guys and have a phenomenal day.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell.